Continuing the reading, page 113, Ten Bodhisattva Grounds, the Shining Light Ground. The third ground, Shining Light Ground. Of those sons of the Buddha, hearing of this ground's praxis, of the inconceivable realms of the Bodhisattva, none failed to be moved to thoughts of reverence and delight. Then from the midst of space they scattered blossoms as offerings. Uttering praises they said, "It is good indeed, great mountain king, that with compassionate mind you think of being with purity. You have so well described the dharmas of moral virtue of this wise as well as the practice of characteristics of the second ground. The supreme practice of this bodhisattva is true, real, free of irregularities, unwavering, unvarying, wishing to benefit the many classes of beings. You have thus expounded upon their supreme purity. You to whom all humans and devils make offerings here, we pray you will now expound on the third ground for the sixth, and hope you will entirely explain according to their states the dharma, requirements, works of the wise. All of the great rishis dharmas of giving moral virtue, patience, vigor, dharma, and wisdom, as well as the path of skillful means, kindness, and compassion, as all these pure practices of the Buddha, please explain them all." At that time, Liberation Moon repeated the request, saying, O fearless and greatly eminent Master Vajragarha, please explain the manner of one's progression to the third ground, and all qualities of those that are with pliant and harmonious minds. At the time, Vajragarha Bodhisattva informed Liberation Moon Bodhisattva, saying, "Sons of Buddhas, the Bodhisattva who has already accomplished the purification of the second ground and then wishes to enter the third ground should bring forth the 10 types of resolute intentions. What then are the 10? They are the resolute intention set on pure, the resolute intention set on stable, abiding, the resolute intention set on renunciation, the resolute intention set on abandonment desire, the resolute intention set on reversibility, the resolute intention set on solidity, the resolute intention set on flourishing brilliance, the resolute intention set on heroic bravery, the resolute intention set on being broadly inclusive, and the resolute intention set on magnanimity. The Bodhisattva employs these 10 types of resolute intentions to acquire entry into the third ground. Sons of Buddha, after the Bodhisattva Mahasattva comes to abide on the third ground, he contemplates the unconditioned dharmas in accordance with their true character, that is to say, they are characterized by impermanence, suffering, impurity, instability, certainty of ruination, inability to long endure pollution, destruction, and its succeeding ksara, not coming forth from the past, not proceeding in the future, not abiding in the present. He also contemplates these dharmas as affording no protection and devoid of any refuge, as accompanied by worry, sorrow, and anguish, as bound up with love and hate, as proliferating worry and sorrow, as involving ceaseless accumulation, as ablaze with the fire of desire, hatred, and stupidity that blaze on incessantly, as enveloped by the many of sorts of calamities, as increasing day and night, and as like magical conjuration their unreality. Having observed this, he doubly increased his renunciation of all conditioned things that and progresses toward the wisdom of the Buddha. He perceived the wisdom of the Buddha as inconceivable, as unequaled, as measureless, as rarely encountered, as unalloyed, and its purity, as beyond anguish, as beyond worries, as reaching out the way of the seats of fearlessness, as irreversible, as able to rescue countless beings beset with suffering and difficult. Once the Bodhisattva has in this way observed the immeasurable benefit of the Tathagata's wisdom, and has likewise observed the countless faults and calamitous qualities of all that is conditioned, he then brings forth the types of sympathetic mental intentions toward all beings. What then are these 10? They are, he brings forth sympathetic moral intentions observing the beings abide in solitude with no one upon whom they can depend. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings are poverty-stricken and destitute. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings are engulfed in the flames of the three poisons. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings are confined in the prison of states of existence. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings are constantly covered over and obstructed by the days forest of afflictions. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings are not skilled in contemplative thought. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings have no desire for good dharmas. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings have lost the Buddha Dharma. He brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings flow along in the stream of cyclical birth and death. And he brings forth sympathetic mental intentions observing that beings have lost the means of achieving liberation. These are the 10. And that's it. I will just stop here. Page 116. Ten Bodhisattva Grounds.